Okie dokie. Right, well, hello, my name's Judith Booth. I've been teaching for 25 years, mainly psychology, but I've taught health promotion. I've taught on the foundation degrees that we have in college. I've taught on the PGCEs. I'm involved in lesson observations, but my main role at the moment is coordinating the Access programme. I've actually been in the college for 17 years. I've enjoyed every minute of my employment here. From the moment I came to now, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And I still love teaching. For me, transformational teaching is teaching that makes a difference. Whether that's people just enjoying the lesson and going away and saying, I've learned something, or I enjoyed that, and occasionally people do say they've enjoyed it, or in the longer term, if they go to universities, and then sometimes you'll find out what they're doing now. So people who've come in and have been very quiet and haven't had much confidence, you'll see them 5-10 years later and they'll say, I'm a primary school teacher now, or I'm a social worker, or I'm doing my master's degree, I'm doing my PhD, and you think, wow, what a difference. You know, FE does change people's lives. We did have a student a few years ago who had a degenerative disease and came to us in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And that was for A levels.
Wow.
And he managed, he got his A levels and he got a place at Durham University. And I thought that was absolutely amazing. And how positive he was as well. You know, you complain if you've got a bad back or you've got a cold. And he was this lad and he knew he had a life-limiting disorder. But he was so positive and he grasped every opportunity that was available to him. And it was marvellous to see him go on. We've had other cases where people have lost their parents when they've been studying. You know, so typically they're from a one-parent family, maybe dad isn't around, and I can remember a case where a girl's mother unfortunately got breast cancer and died throughout the course, and for that girl to be able to pull herself up, she was homeless, but to pull herself up and be supported and to achieve her A levels and go to university, I thought it was amazing. I had a chap come and do the humanities and he went on to do social work. The next year his wife came and did the health diploma. He's now a qualified social worker, she's a qualified midwife. He'd been a plasterer, she'd been a beautician. And the transformation for them was amazing because they'd gone from having jobs they were a bit sick of, things they didn't really want to do anymore, to things that aspired to do but maybe thought they couldn't. So FE for them just gave them that springboard. It opened up all of these opportunities that I think, and this is a typical story, that people feel once they get into the 20s or the 30s, oh, I didn't stick in at school, or I'm not clever enough, or I'm never going to do anything. And it only takes one person in a friendship group to go and do something like an Access course and go on and do well, and then their friends want to come as well. And for me, that is transformational, not just for the couple or the person, but for their children who have higher aspirations, for their friends, for people from the community who thought, oh, you know, I didn't realise I still stood a chance, I could go and do something. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because when we think about observing lessons, you think, oh, we've got to have a lesson plan. Oh, we've got to have differentiated objectives. Oh, it's all about learning rather than teach. Oh, they've all got to be active. And I think sometimes it's the relationship between the teacher and the pupils that makes the difference. It's thinking about them as individuals and trying to find out about the things that are going on in their lives, trying to find the things that they're interested in. And also for Access, bearing in mind a lot of people, including myself, found school totally boring. They found the teachers boring. and they found reading from the books boring. So it's putting the information across to them in a way that's going to be interesting, that they can relate to, that they can hang something onto and go away and think, have a sense of achievement at the end of that lesson, think, actually, I'm not thick, I did get that. I can go away and read something in a book and feel that I've learned something. That's what I think anyway. The way I think about it is, New College Durham is located in a very affluent area, more or less in the centre of Durham. But our students don't come from the centre of Durham. They come from places like Stanley and Consett, where they've had a high mining tradition or a steel making tradition. Those industries have gone. They come particularly from East Durham, where there are a lot of small mining villages, mining communities, and the miners' strike of 84-85 is well documented, but there just aren't jobs available for people anymore. There may be jobs, as you say, in call centres, but they're not the sort of highly paid jobs that men would have expected to have. And for women as well, a lot of the factories have closed. The North East does have one of the highest unemployment rates in the country, and we also have one of the lowest participation rates in higher education. The college has gone some way to address that with foundation degrees, so we're giving people the opportunity, like teaching assistants who might have done a cash or an NNEB but then being stuck as a teaching assistant. We're doing foundation degrees to give them the opportunity and an academic route to become teachers. But as far as the access is concerned, people come to us sometimes because they've lost the job, sometimes because they don't have a very good job, sometimes because they always felt as if they could do something, but people at school, the teachers told them that they were thick. It's a common story. So they come to us and there's something special about them because they want change and they want to make a difference to their lives. So although they may not have much confidence sometimes, although their written skills may not be fantastic, the essence that makes them want to do something with their lives is there, and it's our job to nurture that and bring that out so that they can go on to university, they can get better jobs, and that enhances not only their lives but their children's lives. They then have higher aspirations for their own children, and it'll be interesting to see, I think a study should be done that looks at the long-term impact of education and people doing better. I know it takes many generations, but we do have to break the cycle of low aspirations in the North East, because we've got whole generations now who don't work. When the mines closed, when the steel works closed, when factories shut down, you had people in the 40s, and let's face it, the Conservative government encouraged people to be disabled, to be too sick to work to get them off the unemployment statistics. And their children grow up, they can't get jobs either, and the cycle perpetuates. And I think FE colleges have a marvellous role to play in breaking that cycle and getting people back into employment. And the college has tremendous support. The whole essence of this college has been about widening participation. And every time our principal speaks, he talks about serving the community. That is a common thread. In the 17 years I've been here, I've noticed he's always talking about serving the community. He says, we are here, although we are a business, because colleges have to be, our job is to serve the community. Yeah, and obviously things change. Factories come, factories go, and I know that the senior management team have a different role to me, and they look at different markets and look at how we as a college might adapt to the different things that come about. But that's the core thing within the college, that we're here to serve the community. Well, you've got your lessons in the classroom, but we're not dealing with inanimate objects, we're dealing with people. And with mature students, they may have children, they may have work commitments, they may have family commitments, There are times where children are ill, or they've got to go to work and they can't come into college. And we've got to bear that in mind, because if they come to us, we want them to succeed. We don't want them to come and then drop out. So we try to get to know the students, to get to know them as people and be part of their journey. Really, because some people have had some traumatic things happen. Some people have had really interesting lives, and you think, you must take your hat off to them that they've actually come back to education to study. We'll get people coming to us in their 20s who maybe started a course when they left school, maybe had a baby, maybe the course wasn't for them, then got a job, ended up staying in that job, but they knew it wasn't right for them. So for some students who come to us for access, this might be the third course that they're actually doing. All of our every person's different, but everyone's had a different experience. Some people will say, well, I just wasn't very good at school, or I didn't find it interesting, or I was told, well, it doesn't matter, you can get a job, education isn't for you. And I think the thing is that a lot of people think that they're not academic, when actually they are, but they've never had the opportunity to discuss things in an academic way, or they've never had the opportunity to write something. So it is giving people another chance, sometimes a second chance, sometimes a third chance.
That maybe they don't.
Oh yeah, they won't think that being a mother or getting the children to school or helping them with the homework or organising things at home or even working in a shop, they think that's nothing. But they don't realise, well, you need good communication skills to be able to work in a shop. You've got customer relations, you've got to organise your children, you've got money management. They're so used to thinking of all the things they can't do. We've got to focus on what they can do. And they can do as much as anybody else, to be honest with you. Yeah, and they raise up as they're going. And I think the important thing about education is, by the time they finish, they realise that they can do the same as those people who they thought, were perhaps sometimes better than them because they had a degree or they're a doctor. So people have said to me, I've learned how to write, and I've learned how to phone up and complain if I'm not happy about something. And I've learned to say, I disagree with that. Not necessarily argue or be confrontational. I suppose at the end of the day they're empowered and they've got more confidence. Confidence which will take them through life regardless of how well they do on the access course, because for them it's a community as well. They're all in it together, they're coming from similar backgrounds. Because they're older, they'll talk more openly and they reaffirm what each other are saying as well. They support each other as much as you can say a member of staff supports, and which we do. They support each other, and I just think that's marvellous.